Hi everyone, and welcome to the Scorpio Weekly Tarot Bite reading for the week of July 24th through the 30th. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot reading for Soul Illumination. Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Lauren. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope you do get something meaningful out of this reading. So this reading is meant to take a look at the energy for the week ahead for the sign of Scorpio. It's going to be a short reading, about 10 minutes or so, where we're going to dive deeper into the two themes that came out in the general collective reading, which was posted on Monday for the week. Now, those two themes were the High Priestess and Flexible. And how that really came forward is that we're all being asked this week to get into that place of flexibility with what's going to start changing in our outer physical experience based on what's changing in our inner experience. So many of us are going through the ending of a major cycle and beginning a new cycle of growth for ourselves, where there's a deep intuitive knowing with the High Priestess as to a part of ourself that we want to bring out, or possibly a vision for ourselves that we would like to call in this next cycle. And anytime we have those kind of big realizations internally, they're always going to speak to big shifts starting to happen. And they start little and build. But the big shifts will start to build in our external environment. So this is that week to start getting really grounded, digging into kind of the depths of our root system through the vision we have for our future self, or through this new vision of who we are and who we want to bring out into this next cycle. And then kind of going with the flow above that on the surface. So as things start to change, not getting upset, not trying to force results or outcomes, but just kind of staying in that deep intuitive knowing of, I know what I want, I know what I'm hoping to bring in, and I'm going to have the faith and the belief that it's coming for me. So I'm going to go with what changes in my external environment. Okay, so we're going to see here, Scorpio, what these two cards mean for you this week. So we're going to see first, what does flexible, what are you being asked to be flexible with this week? Or why are you being asked to be flexible this week, Scorpio? What does Scorpio need to know? Let's see, what does Scorpio need to know? Okay, so we have the Hierophant, all right. So the Hierophant can speak to many things. It can speak to our own belief systems, the rules we choose to follow in our life. This can be religious systems, this can be governmental systems, this can be societal or familial norms that we decide to adhere to. This can also be kind of our internal belief system of what we believe we're capable of. It can be our own kind of inner spiritual self as well, who has the ability when we tap into it to, in a kind of masculine way, really see the way forward that we can initiate for ourselves that might actually be somewhat kind of breaking ourselves out of a mold. The Hierophant can also speak to our commitments. So this can speak to committing to family. This can speak to a marriage. This can speak to committing to a work environment. So there may be something here around commitments that comes up this week that you might need to be flexible around. This could be something where maybe a commitment that you made to work might have to change a little bit because your commitment to your home might be the priority, or vice versa. This can also be this week where your belief systems might start to be shaken up a little bit. I'm going to see if we can get another card here. And I might pull clarifiers for that Hierophant just to see what else wants to come in there. So let's see, what else does Scorpio need to know about being flexible? Don't get the feeling anything wants to come out. So I'm going to see what's coming out for the High Priestess, and then we'll pull some clarifiers. What does Scorpio need to know about the High Priestess? Okay, so for the High Priestess, we have the Moon, the Ace of Wands, and the Four of Swords. And the Moon is that kind of, it's a card that's like double-edged. It's a card that says the way is unclear. And that can be kind of scary. So we want to stop ourselves and say, well, I don't know if I want to keep going if I can't quite see in the darkness. But it also asks us if we can walk a path on faith. Because we're being called up out of a comfort zone. You can see that there's like this lobster here being called up out of the water. And he's being called to make a journey onto dry land toward the mountains in the background. And there's a sense here of feeling called out of a comfort zone, but not quite. And it could be around the Ace of Wands. This is a new inspiration. This is an idea. This is something that lights your flame. This can even be, for some of you, you might be conceiving, or you might feel called to all of a sudden conceive a child. You know, I actually have a very close friend in my life who went through that, where she didn't want to have kids and was 100% on that track. And then all of a sudden, it's like she woke up one day and felt called to, it's like her clock started ticking at that moment. But yet it was kind of unclear. She just felt that calling. And so some of you, there may be something coming in that's like this. It's kind of all of a sudden this spark, whether it's a passion for something that just kind of comes in out of the blue, or an inspiration or an idea, and you're feeling called towards it. There's an intuitive feeling. And with the Four of Swords, you're being asked to really sit there and reflect. That as you... there's a point that we all need to get to when we're kind of going, especially when we're going into the new, or when we're kind of feeling into a new inspiration, when something kind of relights our internal flame, that there's a sense of really having to get very clear on our personal truth, away from all of the wounding of the past, meaning all of the areas where we failed, all of the times somebody told us or made us feel like we were less than, all of the wounding stories as well that we were subjected to, maybe at the hands of our parents, or at the hands of let's say a less than happy work environment, something along those lines, where it's something we kind of keep bringing forward, where we're like, well, because my parents' marriage was difficult, there's an underlying theme of, well, all marriages don't work out. It's kind of one of those feelings sometimes, where then the truth of it is, for you don't really feel that way. That's just someone else's truth masking your own truth. And so there's a sense here of really pausing to reflect on maybe what has prevented you from following either this inspiration in the past, or what's holding you back. What's a fear point that's holding you back from following this inspiration? If it is something like you want to go out and have children, or you want to commit to a marriage, really getting clear as to, who you are, why this is the right time. I mean, this could even be like an inspiration for a business, and you're like, wow, I thought I was always going to commit to, working in this career path that I'm already on, but suddenly I'm realizing I could be my own business owner. And that might be something that's so foreign to you that you never considered. Or this could be even the inspiration to go back to school and get a higher education, and maybe no one in your life experience has ever had maybe a secondary degree. So there's something here around that. There's like a feeling of being called towards something new, and yet you're going to have to get really clear as to kind of clearing out those cobwebs in your mind that are hiding your own truth, hiding, I think, the truth of what you're truly capable of and what you really want to commit to. Okay, so I'm going to see here. I'm going to pull for two things. I'm going to pull for the Hierophant, and I'm going to pull for the Ace of Wands to kind of see what that inspiration is, or that this kind of whatever's coming in to kind of light that spark. Okay, so let's see. What does Scorpio need to know about the Hierophant? What does Scorpio need to know about the Hierophant? Okay, so we have the Empress. Oh, lovely. Some of you it's actually committing to your own femininity. And I don't mean you're committing to being a female. I mean, you're committing to your own creativity. You're committing to seeing what your creativity can actually, maybe boundaries it can break, seeing what you want to hold space for and commit to that. For some of you, it's also about committing to an Empress in your life. This could be committing to someone who does want to have children with you, committing to someone who does want to hold space for the same things that you do. But it can be one way or the other. And interesting, in the Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups is walking away from something. This is walking away from something that is no longer fulfilling to you. For some of you, this actually could be where you worked towards something for some time that was not based not grounded in what you actually wanted. There can be a sense here of maybe either two things, either creating something for yourself that was actually, almost based on another person's belief structures or societal structures or something like that. Like, hey, I have to do this. I have to get married and I have to have 2 kids and I have to live in the suburbs because that's what I've been told to do. Or I have to hold down a 9-to-5 job. I can't just go off and be an artist. Like, there's something here around the realization. There can also be a sense too of as you're starting to commit possibly to either someone else in your life who embodies this Empress energy, or you're starting to commit to holding space for what you really want, you're realizing what no longer supports you and what it's time to walk away from. So it's kind of like if all of a sudden you're seeing a new dream for yourself, and that dream, let's say you always thought that you wanted to have the family and you wanted to have all of that, and and all of a sudden you realize, well, actually, I just want to be free. I want to travel the world. I want to level up in my career path. I want to meet people who are adventurous, and I want to do that for the next 5-10 years, and then I'll see where I go from there. Well, then all of a sudden that's going to challenge your whole structure of maybe you were so focused on trying to meet somebody because that was like the first step in fulfilling the fast track to marriage and family and all of that. And all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I'm going to walk away from all of these dating profiles. I'm going to walk away from going out to the bar every night. I'm going to start focusing on following my intuition, which is I want to start saving money to go on my adventures. I want to start looking for a flexible job that's going to allow me to travel more. I'm going to start researching the places that I want to travel to. It can be something along those lines. That could be the total opposite. You could have always been focused on your career path, and now suddenly you're like, I want to focus on home and family and holding space for that. But I also know what I need to walk away from. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to see what this Ace of Wands is over here. What is this Ace of Wands? What's this inspiration? Oh, and the Ace of Cups. You have the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups is beautiful. That's the potential for new love. It's a potential for reconnection to your spiritual self, to your This is kind of like getting those wheels engaged of our emotional core. Where sometimes we can kind of get disconnected emotionally from life, and we're just kind of feel like there's like this wall up between us and life. And there's a sense here that there's like this feeling of connection between something that sparked your passion and kind of got you, it was almost like that, like the jolt that you needed to get reconnected back to your life. And yet you're sitting here going, it's almost going to be a week where it's like the shocking moment of realizing the track you've been on to date, and now there might be a kind of abrupt shift based off of either a new inspiration or a new love, or you might be even reflecting on this happening in the past. So this could be, again, you're on one trajectory and all of a sudden, boom, you get married, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant. And this is wonderful, and it's opened up a whole new avenue for myself, but there's something here that it forced you to walk away from. And maybe this is also that week where maybe now you're building on that. There may be a sense here of further leaning in. Yeah, bottom of the deck, we have the 3 of Pentacles. Further leaning into a bigger vision now. There's a sense of seeing, okay, what happened? Where did the spark come in? Where did I reconnect to life? Where am I now? And now that I want to hold space for something more, now that I know that I can go outside of the belief structures just fine. So what do I need to walk away from that's no longer supporting me? And what do I want to build from this point forward? So this could be a week where it's a little shakeup because you're continuing on a past shakeup. All right, I will leave it there for all of you Scorpios. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. If you'd like to book a personal reading, you can click on the link in the description box below to visit my website. Otherwise, I will be releasing August full tarot scope for each sign starting at the end of this week and moving into the beginning of next week. And I hope to see you all there. Bye, Scorpio.